Hey guys, so I got a request for a chain maintenance video, and so I'm gonna throw this one up here. I need to maintain the chain on this GSXR 1100 anyway, so it gives me a good opportunity to do this. Chain drives. Alright, so what do you know about them? I kind of feel like they're inferior to shaft drives, but that's just because my preferred method of riding is just cruising, and that's what I cruise on. I just cruise around. I don't really race. I feel like chain drives are unnecessarily dangerous and noisy. But if you have a race bike like this one obviously is, they're indispensable. They're much lighter. They don't rob any horsepower like shaft drives do. And so that's why, you know, GSXRs, CBRs, Ninjas and stuff, they're all chain driven. To take a look at your chain, if this is the first time you've ever looked at it, or you know, if this is just routine maintenance for you, it's important to consider that chains are really actually very complicated. They look like just a big line of metal, but they're not. They've got so many tiny little moving parts, and any single one can fail at any given time. So, I mean, there really isn't any other component, specific component of your bike that is made of so many different moving parts. So it's really important to do regular chain maintenance. Take a look in your owner's manual and see how often you need to lube up the chain. Typically it's like every 1,000 miles or 2,000 miles or something like that. So this is a really important step in maintaining your bike. So first thing, there are a couple of products that I use to lube up chain. This is the store-bought chain lube. This is really good stuff. It's not absolutely imperative that you use store-bought chain lube. You can use gear oil, like 80 or 90 weight gear oil. You know, you can just run a bead of it all the way down there. But this stuff actually is a little bit better. So basically, what I'll do to lube up my chain, whoops, lost the cap. Alright, I'll just go down like this, you know, give it a good spray, go along here, make sure you get into all the moving parts, you know, and then with your bike in neutral, just go ahead and rotate the wheel. This one's a little bit stiff because it's been hanging up, and do it again, you know, not too much to it. Get in there. I like to get in here where the front sprocket is. Get that sprocket. Get all along here, and then just rotate it by hand a couple of times. And typically, for as far as maintenance goes, that's really all that you need. Some guys will actually leave their bike on and they'll put it in first and let it idle, and they'll, you know, as the chain goes down, you know, as the chain revolves around the circuit, they'll just sit in one spot and spray. I don't do that, and there's a really good reason why I don't do that, and I'll show you guys right now. Yeah, that was a picture of some poor guy who got his fingers caught right in here. And even at idle, even on a little 400cc bike or whatever, there's still plenty of torque to pull your fingers all the way up and through here. All the way through. And it will chop your fingers off, so I definitely don't do that. Oh, it's actually really helpful, I forgot to mention, to put your bike up, if you don't have a center stand, to get one of these handy jacks. Super easy, super cheap. I use it all the time. You've seen it in my motorcycle balance video. Good little tool. While you're down here, take a look at your sprocket. These teeth here, if you can see them, they should look like this. They should be nice and sharp, and they shouldn't be perceptibly leaning one way or the other. This is a good sprocket. This here is a master link, and every bike has one, unless your bike has lost it. This, you pop this out. It's a little clip. You pop it out, and then this link will actually slide out, and you can take the chain off. I don't usually do it that way. I usually release the wheel and slide the wheel forward, because I don't want to go messing around with this link. One time I I actually removed this link, but I ended up bending it accidentally, and when I tried to put it back on, it didn't seat properly, and it fell out, and my chain like kind of bent out like this, and it was just itching to break on me, and I didn't really want it to do that, so I don't disconnect them anymore. This is typically the very first link to go, or to start getting nasty, and as you can see, all these are fairly rust free except for this one right here. And so, I mean, you just got to keep an eye on it. And it's not like I would advocate replacing this chain right away. It still looks to be in good shape to me. But this is definitely the weakest part right here of the links. So, you should keep an eye on that. Another thing to do while you're here is take a look at your chain tension. The way that I do it is I just basically grab it and wiggle it like this, or I go underneath and wiggle it like this. Now this is a little bit deceptive because this is a stretched bike, and so the distance between the two sprockets is longer than stock. So you are going to get a little bit more wobble. This is a little bit too much, in my opinion. I'm going to need to tighten this one up eventually, but I know this wheel is going to go off. I have to take this wheel off to replace the tire soon anyway, so I'm not even going to bother with it now. But this is a little bit too much. You can look in your repair manual, and it will probably tell you how tight the sprocket should be. And the way that you figure out how tight you need to be is you sort of take a tape measure like this, and well, I can't really do it with my camera in my hand, but you take the camera, or you take the tape measure, then you pull it down, and basically you see how far it travels, and it should say, you know, so many fractions of an inch or whatever, you know, is acceptable. Because you definitely don't want it too tight, because too tight a chain will cause sprocket wear, and it will also put unnecessary strain on the chain. And so what I was talking about with the sprocket, they get really worn down when you have your chain too tight. This right here is the chain tensioner, and what you do is you back off this outer nut. This is the lock nut. You back this one off, and then you can either and then you release the axle. Just, you know, unscrew this axle nut, maybe, I don't know, a quarter of a turn or an eighth of a turn or something, just so that it's not giving any tension. And then you tighten these down just a little bit. You tighten them down by quarter-inch intervals, or sorry, quarter-turn intervals. So like tighten this down, and then tighten that one down, and then tighten this one down quarter turn, and then that one a quarter turn. And if you tighten it and loosen off, you'll either increase or decrease the distance between the front and the rear sprockets, and so obviously your chain will tighten. But it's really important that you do quarter-inch, or I don't know why I keep saying that, quarter turn on this one, quarter turn on that one, because you don't want to tighten one down more than the other. That's important. That's important because you definitely don't want to cant this wheel one way or the other. So that's a good idea. You know, whenever you tighten your chain, you know, to do it like that. Most chain maintenance intervals don't require that you tighten the chain every time. But on bikes that I ride regularly, I check the chain tension maybe once every oil change, once every 3,000 or 4,000 miles, something like that. But I pretty much always lube it up every 1,000 miles. So I mean, that's another disadvantage to chains, is that they take a little bit more maintenance. But really, it's not so bad. I mean, how long does it take you to spray this down? Nothing, you know. So pick yourself up a can of this, you know, or get some lubrication or whatnot, and you know, just be sure to take care of your chain, you know. It's a pretty important part of your bike.